Let's do a sound check. And obviously, sound is working. No man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom is not worth having if it does not connote freedom to err. All our freedoms in a single bundle, all must be secure if any is to be preserved. The worst enemy of freedom is indeed of democracy itself is not the demagogue and the radical, but the economic conditions which produce the wretched and discontented populations willing to listen to their haranguers. The only freedom which deserves the name is that of pursuing our own good in our own way. So long as we do not attempt to deprive others of theirs or impede their efforts to obtain freedom. Many politicians lay it down as a self-evident proposition that no people ought to be free till they are fit to use their freedom. This maxim is worthy of the fool in the old story who resolved not to go into the water till he had learned to swim. Freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of person under the protection of the habeas corpus. These are the principles that have guided our steps through an age of revolution and reformation. There must be no tampering with the freedoms of the peoples. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. There were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance was also 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, and every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And it was so. When the days of their feasting were gone about, the Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." Thus did Job continually. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Whence comest thou?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro in the earth, and walking up and down in it." And the Lord said unto Satan, "Hast thou considered my servant Job? Is there none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Doth Job fear God? Sorry. Does Job fear God for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face." And the Lord said unto Satan, "Behold, all that is in the power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand." So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord, and there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their house, in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabeans fell down upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee." And while he was yet speaking, there also came another and said, "The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, The Chaldeans made out of 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. And while he was still yet speaking, there also came another and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brothers. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And only I am escaped alone to tell thee. And Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped, and said, Naked came I out of thy mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. And again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From among going to and fro in the earth, and walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job? Is there none quite like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath he will give for his life. But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils, and the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Now when Job's 3 friends came and heard of all this evil was come upon him, they came from every one of his own place, Eliphaz and Temanite and Bildad and Shuhite and Zophar and Nemathite, for they had an appointment together to come to mourn with him and comfort him. And when they had lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept, and they rent every one of his mantle and sprinkled dust upon their heads towards heaven. So they sat down with him up on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spake unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great. And after this, Job, his mouth opened and cursed his day. And Job spake and said, Let the day perish wherein I was born, for the night in which it was said, There is a man-child conceived. Let that day be darkness, let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it, let a cloud dwell upon it, let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it, let it not be joined unto the days of the year, let it not come into the number of the months. Lo, let that night be solitary, let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it that they curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars out of the twilight thereof be dark, let it look for light, but have none, neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut up not the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. Why did I not move up from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breasts that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, and then had I been at rest. With kings and counselors of the earth, which built the desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, or who filled their houses with silver, or as an hidden, untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw the light. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in the soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than hid treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad in it, and they can find the grave. Why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom God hath hedged in? For my sighing cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Then Eliphaz and the Temanite answered and said, If we essay to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened thy weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was falling, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest. It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. It is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and thy uprightness of the ways? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off from? Even if I have seen they plow iniquity, they sow wickedness, they reap the same. By the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils they are consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perished for lack of prey, and the stout lion's whelps are scattered abroad. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear receiveth a little thereof, in thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep shall falleth upon men. Fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. And then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his Maker? Behold, put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in the houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to the evening. They perish forever without any regarding of it. Doth not their excellency which is in them go away? They die, even without wisdom. Call now, if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh even out of the thorns, and the robber swallow up with their substance. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground. Yet man is born into trouble, as the sparks fly upward. I would seek ye unto God, and unto God I would commit my cause, which doeth great things and unsearchable marvelous things without number. Who giveth rain upon the earth, and sendeth waters upon the fields, to set upon high whose that be low. Those that which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Therefore despise not the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore, and bindeth up, he woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in the league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shalt not sin. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offering is the spring grass of earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in the full age, like as a shock of corn cometh in his season. Lo, this we have searched it. So it is, hear it, and now, thou, it is for thy good. But Job answered and said, O my grief were though lay weighed, and my calamity laid as the balances together. For now it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me, the poison whereof drinketh up my spirit, and the terrors of God do set themselves in array against me. Doth the wild ass bray when he has grass, or the loweth ox over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt, or is there any taste in the white of an egg? For the things of my soul refuse to touch are his own my sorrowful meat. Oh, I might have requested that God would grant me the thing that I longed for, even that it would please God to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then should I have yet comfort, yea, I would harden myself in sorrow. Let him not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One. What is my strength that I should hope, and what is mine end that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh of brass? Is not my help in me, and is wisdom quite driven from me? To him that is afflicted, pity should be showed from his friend, but he forsaketh the fear of the Almighty. My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, and as the stream of brooks they pass away, which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. But when they wax warm, they vanish. When it is hot, they are consumed out of their place. The paths of the way are turned aside, and they go to nothing and perish. The troops of Tamar looked, the companies of Sheba waited for them. They have confounded because they had hoped. They came thither, and they were ashamed. For now ye are nothing. Ye see my casting down, and are afraid. Did I say, Bring unto me, or give me a reward of your substance, or deliver me from the enemy's hand, or redeem me from the hand of the mighty? Teach me, and I will hold my tongue. Cause me to understand wherein I have erred. How forcible are right words, but what doth your arguing reprove? Do ye imagine to reprove words in the speeches of one that is desperate, which are as the wind? Yea, ye overwhelm the fatherless, and ye dig up a pit for your friend. And now therefore be content, look upon me, for it is evident unto you if I lie. Return, I pray to you, let it not be iniquity. Yea, return again, my righteousness is in it. Is there iniquity in my tongue? Cannot my taste discern perverse things? Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth? Are not his days also like the days of a hireling? As a servant earnestly desireth the shadow, as a hireling looketh for the reward of his work, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, When shall I arise? And the night be gone, and I am full of tossings to and fro until the dawning of the day. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust, my skin broken and become loathsome. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is mine, winged. Mine eyes shall see no more, see no good. The eye of him that has seen me shall see me no more. Thine eyes are upon me, and I am not. As the cloud is consumed and vanisheth away, so he that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. I am a sea or a whale that thou settest a watch over me. When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint. Then thou scarest me with dreams and terrifiest me through visions, so that my soul chooseth strangling and death rather than life. I loathe it. I would not live alway. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. What is man that thou should magnify him, and that thou shouldest set thine heart upon him, and that thou shouldest visit him every morning and try him every moment? How long wilt thou not depart from me, nor let me alone, till I swallow down my own spittle? I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself? And why dost thou not pardon my transgressions? Take away mine iniquity. For now shall I sleep in the dust, and thou shalt seek me in the morning, but I shall not be. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite, and said, How long wilt thou speak these things? How long shall thy words of a mouth be like a strong wind? Does God pervert judgment, or doth the Almighty pervert justice? If thy children have sinned against him, and he gave, cast them away for their transgressions. If thou wouldst seek unto God betimes, and make thine supplication to thy Almighty, if thou wert pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee, and make habitation of the righteousness prosperous. Though thy beginning was small, and yet thy latter end should greatly increase. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers. For we are but of yesterdays, and know nothing, because our days upon earth are a shadow. Shall not they teach thee, and tell thee, and utter the words of their heart? Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in the greenness, and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb. So are the paths of all that forget God, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish. Whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure. He is green before the sun, and his branch shooteth forth in his garden. His roots are wrapped about the heap, and seethe the place of stones. If he destroy him from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen thee. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow. Behold, God will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers, till he fill thy mouth with laughing and thy lips with rejoicing. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught. And then Job answered and said, I know it is not so of a truth, but how should man be just with God? If he will contend with him, he cannot answer him one of 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who hath hardened himself against him and hath prospered. Which removeth the mountains, and they know not, which overturneth them in his anger, which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble. Which God commandeth the sun, and riseth not, and sealeth up the stars. Which alone spreadeth out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea. Which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south, all the stars. Which doeth great things past finding out, yea, and wonders without number. Lo, he goeth by me, and I see him not. He passes on also, but I perceive him not. Behold, he taketh away, who can hinder him? Who will say unto him, What doest thou? If God will not withdraw his anger, the proud helpers do stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him, and choose out my words to reason with him? Whom though I were righteous, yet would I not answer, but I would make supplication to my judge. If I had called, and he had answered me, yet I would not believe that he had hearkened unto my voice. For he breaketh me with a tempest, and multiplieth my wounds without cause. He will not suffer me to take my breath, but filleth me with bitterness. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong. And if judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Though if I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul, I would despise my life. This is the one thing, therefore, I said it. He destroyeth the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge slay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Now my days are swifter than a post. They flee away. They see no good. They are passed away as the swift ships, as the eagle that hasteth to the prey. If I say I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my heaviness and comfort myself. If I am afraid of all my sorrows, I know that thou wilt not hold me innocent. If I be wicked, why then labor I in vain? If I wash myself with snow water and make my hands never so clean, yet shalt thou plunge me into the ditch, and mine own clothes shall abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him, and we should come together in judgment. Neither is there any daysman betwixt us that might lay his hand upon us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not his fear terrify me. Then I would speak, and would not fear him. But it is not so with me. My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. If I say unto God, do not condemn me, show me wherefore thou contendest with me. It is good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, that thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands, and shine upon thy counsel of the wicked. Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as a man seeth? Are thy days as the days of man? Are thy years as of man's days? And that thou inquirest after mine iniquity, and searchest after my sin? Thou knowest I am not wicked, and there is nothing that can deliver out of my hand. Thine hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet thou dost destroy me. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as clay, and wilt thou bring me into the dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and curdled me like cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and thou fenced me with bones and sinews. Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit. And these things hast thou hid in thine heart. I know that this is with thee. If I sin, then thou markest me, and thou wilt not acquit me from mine iniquity. If I be wicked, woe unto me, and if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head. I am full of confusion. Therefore see thou mine affliction, for it increaseth. Thou huntest me as a fierce lion, and again thou showest thyself marvelous upon me. Thou renewest my witnesses against me, and increasest thy indignation upon me. Changes and war are against me. Wherefore, when hast thou brought me forth out of the womb? Oh, that I had given up the ghost, and no eye had seen me. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried away from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of the death. A land of darkness is darkness itself, and the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is the darkness. Then answered Zophar the Naamathite and said, should not the multitude of words be answered, and should a man full of talk be justified? Should thy lies make men hold their peace, and when thou mockest shall no man take thee ashamed? For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thy eyes. But oh, that God would speak and open his lips against thee, and that he would show thee the secrets of his wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that God exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. Canst thou by searching find out God? Canst thou find out the Almighty unto the perfection? It is as high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell. What canst thou do? The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. If he cut up and cut off and shut up or gather together, then who can hinder him? For he knoweth vain man, he seeth wickedness also. Will he not consider it? For vain man would be wise, though man be born like a wild ass's colt. If thou prefer thine heart, and stretch out thine hands toward him, if thine iniquity be in thine hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles. For then thou shalt lift up thy face without spot, yea, thou shalt be steadfast, and shalt not fear. Because thou shalt forget thy misery, and remember it as waters that pass away, and thine age shall be clearer than the noonday. Thou shalt shine forth, thou shalt be as the morning, and thou shalt be secure, because there is hope. Yea, thou shalt dig about thee, and thou shalt take thy rest in safety. Also thou shalt lie down, and none shall make thee afraid. Yea, many shall make suit unto thee, but the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost. And Job answered and said, No doubt, but ye are the people, and the wisdom shall die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Yea, who knoweth not such things as these? I am as one mocked of his neighbor who called upon God, and he answered him with just upright man is laughed to scorn. He that is ready to slip with his feet is as a lamp despised in the thought of him that is at ease. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, in whose hand God bringeth abundantly. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this? In whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind? Doth not the ear try thy words, and the mouth taste his meat? With the ancient of wisdom, with the ancient is wisdom, and in the length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength, he has counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built up again. He shutteth up a man, there can be no opening. Behold, he withholdeth the waters, and they dry up. Also he sendeth them out, and they overturn the earth. With him is strength and wisdom, and deceiveth the deceiver are his. He leadeth counselors away spoiled, and maketh judges fools. He looseth the bond of kings, and girdeth their loins with a girdle. He leadeth princes away spoiled, overthroweth the mighty. He removeth the speech of the trusty, and take away the understanding of the aged. He poureth contempt upon princes, and weakeneth the spirit and strength of the mighty. He discovered deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out of light the shadow of death. He increaseth the nations, and destroyeth them. He enlargeth the nations, and straighteneth them again. He taketh away the heart of the chief of the people of the earth, and causes them to wander in the wilderness where there is no way. They grope in the dark without light, and he maketh them stagger like a drunken man. Lo, mine eyes have seen all this, mine ear hath heard and understood it. But ye know that the same do I know also. I am not inferior unto you. Surely I would speak the Almighty, and I desire to reason with God. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. Oh, that ye would gather altogether your peace, altogether and hold your peace, and it should be your wisdom. Hear now my reasoning, and hearken to the pleadings of my lips. Will ye speak wickedly for God, and talk deceitfully for him? Will ye accept his person? Will ye contend for God? Is it good that he should search you out, or that one man mocketh another? Do ye so mock him? He will surely reprove you if you do secretly accept persons. Shall not his excellency make you afraid, and his dread fall upon you? Your remembrance are like those unto ashes, your bodies to bodies of clay. Hold your peace. Let me alone, that I may speak, and let come on me that will of God. Wherefore do I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in mine own hand? Thou, he shall slay me, yet will I trust in him. But I will maintain mine own ways before him. He shall also be my salvation, for an hypocrite shall not come before him. Hear diligently my speech and my declaration with your ears. Behold, now I have ordered my cause. I know that I shall be justified. Who is he that pleadeth with me? For now, if I hold my tongue, if I shall give up the ghost. Only do not two things unto me, then will I not hide myself from thee. Withdrawn mine hand from afar, mine hand far from me, and let not thy dread make me afraid. Then call thou, and I will answer, or let me speak and answer me. How many are mine iniquities and sins? Make me to know my transgressions and my sins. Wherefore hidest thou thy face and holdest me for thine enemy? Wilt thou break a leaf driven to and fro? Wilt thou pursue the dry stubble? For thou writest bitter things against me, and makest me to possess the iniquities of my youth. Thou puttest my feet also in thy stocks, and lookest narrowly unto all my paths. Thou settest a print upon the heels of my feet, and he, as a rotten thing, consumeth, as a garment that is moth-eaten. Man that is born of a woman is of few days, and full of trouble. He cometh forth like a flower, and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow, and continueth not. And dost thou open thine eyes upon such an one, and bringest me into judgment with thee? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Seeing his days are determined by the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds, that he cannot pass. Turn from him, that he may rest, till he shall accomplish as a hireling his day. For there is a hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease. Though the root thereof wax old in earth, and the stalk thereof die in the ground, yet through ascent of water it will bud, and bring forth boughs like a plant. And man dieth and wasteth away. Yes, man giveth up the ghost. And where is he? As the waters fail from the sea, and the flood decayeth and drieth up, so man lieth down and riseth not, till the heavens be no more. They shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep. Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave, that thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past, that thou wouldest appoint me a set time, and remember me. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. Thou shalt call, and I will answer thee. Thou wilt have a desire to the work of thine hands. For now thou numberest my steps. Dost thou not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and thou sewest up mine iniquity. And surely the mountain falleth, coming to naught, and the rock is removed out of this place. The waters wear the stones, thou washest away the things that grow out of the dust of the earth, and thou destroyest the hope of man. Thou prevailest forever against him, and he passes. Thou changest his countenance, and sendest him away. His sons come to honor, and he knoweth it not, and they are brought low, but he perceiveth not of them. But his flesh upon him shall have pain, and his soul within him shall mourn. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite, and said, Should a wise man utter vain knowledge, and fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherein he cannot do any good? Yea, thou castest off fear, and restrainest the prayer before God. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest not the tongue of the crafty. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, thine own lips testify against thee. Art thou the first man that was born, or wast thou made before the hills? Hast thou heard the secret of God, and dost thou restrain wisdom to thyself? What knowest thou that we know not? What understandest thou which is not in us? With us are both the grey-headed and the very aged men, much elder than thy father. Are the consolations of God small with thee? Is there any secret thing with thee? Why doeth thine heart carry thee away, and what do thy eyes wink at? That thou turnest thy spirit against God, and lettest such words go out of thy mouth. What is man, that he should be clean? And he which is born of a woman, that he should be righteous? Behold, he putteth no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much more abominable and filthy is this man, which drinketh iniquity like water? I will show thee. Hear me, and that which I have seen I will declare, which wise men have told from their fathers, and have not hid it, unto whom alone the earth was given, and no stranger passed among them. The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. A dreadful sound is in like his ears, and in prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of the darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. For wandereth abroad for bread, saying, Where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at his hand. Trouble and anguish shall make him afraid. They shall prevail against him as a king ready to do the battle. For he stretches out his hand against God, and he strengtheneth himself against the Almighty. He runneth upon him, even on his neck, and upon the thick bosses of his bucklers. Because he covereth his face with his fatness, and make collops of fat on his flanks. And he dwelleth in desolate cities, and in houses which no man inhabiteth, which are ready to become heaps. He shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth. He shall not depart out of the darkness, and the flame shall dry up his branches, for the breath of his mouth shall go away. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green. He shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off the flower as his flower as the olive. For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. They conceive mischief, and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. And then Job answered and said, I have heard many such things. Miserable comforters are ye all. Shall vain words have an end? Or what emboldeneth thee that thou answerest? I also could speak as ye do. If your soul were in my soul's stead, I could heap upon words against you, and shake mine head at you. But I would strengthen you with my mouth, and the moving of my lips would assuage your grief. Though I speak, my grief is not assuaged, and though I forbear, what am I eased? But now he hath made me weary. Thou hast made desolate all my company. And thou hast filled me with wrinkles, which is a witness against me. My leanness rising up in me beareth witness to my face. He teareth me in his wrath, who hateth me. He gnasheth upon me with his teeth. Mine enemy sharpened his eyes upon me. They have gaped upon me with their mouth. They have smitten me upon the cheek reproachfully. They have gathered themselves together against me. God had delivered me to the ungodly, and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, but he hath broken me asunder. He hath also taken me by the neck, and shaken me to pieces, and set me up for his mark. His archers compass me around about, and he cleaveth my reins asunder, and doth not spare. He poureth out my gall upon the ground. He breaketh me with breach upon breach. He runneth me upon like a giant. He runneth upon me like a giant. I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin and defiled my horn in the dust. My face is foul with weeping, and on my eyelids is the shadow of death. Not for any injustice in mine hands. Also, my prayer is pure. O earth, cover not thou my blood, and let my cry have no place. Also now behold, my witness is in heaven, and my record is on high. My friends scorn me, but my eye poureth out tears unto God. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God as a man pleadeth for his neighbor. When a few years are come, then I shall go the way whence I shall not return. My breath is corrupt, my days are extinct, and the graves are ready for me. Are there not mockers with me? And doeth not mine eye continue in their provocation? Lay down now, put me in a surety with thee. Who is he that will strike hands with me? For thou hast hid their heart from understanding, therefore shalt thou not exalt them. He that speaketh flattery to his friends, even the eyes of his children, shall fail. He hath made me also a byword of the people, and aforetime I was a tabaret. Mine eye also is dim by reason of sorrow, and all my members are as a shadow. Upright men shall be astonished at this, and the innocent shall stir himself up against the hypocrite. The righteous also shall hold on his way, and he that clean his hands shall be stronger and stronger. But as for you all, do you return and come now, for I cannot find one wise man among you. My days are past, my purpose is broken off, even the thoughts of my heart. They change the night into the day, and light is short because of darkness. If I wait, the grave is mine house, and I have made my bed in the darkness. I have said unto corruption, Thou art my father, to the worm. Thou art my mother and my sister. Where is now my hope? As for my hope, who shall see it? They shall go down to the bars of the pit, when our rest together is in the dust. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite, and said, How long will it be ere to ye make an end of words? Mark, and afterwards we will speak. Wherefore are we counted as beasts and reputed vile in your sight? He teareth himself in his anger. Shall the earth be forsaken for thee? And shall the rock be removed out of this place? Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straitened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of all his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him into the king of terrors. It shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. His root shall be dried up beneath, and shall above his branch be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from the light into the darkness, and chased out of the world. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, and they that went before were affrighted. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not God. And then Job answered and said, How long will ye vex my soul, and break me into pieces with words? These 10 times have ye reproached me, yet are not ashamed that ye make yourselves strange to me. And be it indeed that I have erred, mine error remaineth with myself. If indeed ye willingly magnify yourselves against me, and plead against me my reproach, Know now that God hath overthrown me, and hath encompassed me with his net. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment. He hath fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he has set darkness in my paths. He has stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head. He has destroyed me on every side, and I am gone. Mine hope hath he removed like a tree. He hath also kindled his wrath against me, and he counteth me unto him one of his enemies. His troops come together and raise up their way against me, and encamp about my tabernacle. He hath put my brethren far from me, and mine acquaintance are verily estranged from me. My kinsfolk have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me. They that dwell in mine house and mine maids count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I am called my servant, and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. My breath is strange to my wife, though I entreated for the children's sake of mine own body. Yea, young children despise me. I rose, and they spake against me. All my inward friends abhorred me, and they whom I loved are turned against me. My bone cleaveth to my skin and to my flesh, and I am escaped with the skin of my teeth. Have pity upon me. Have pity upon me, O ye my friends, for the hand of God hath touched me. Why do ye persecute me as God, and not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were now written. Oh, that they were printed in a book, that they were graven with an iron pen and lead in the rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold. And yet another, though my reins be consumed within me. But ye should say, why persecutest we him, seeing the root of the matter is found in me? Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, and ye may know that there is a judgment.